Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Well, this is my last property tour of 2024 and I've saved one of the best until last. I'm in Spitalfields in London's city fringe and I'm not going to lie, I'm really excited to be walking around a handsome and hugely impressive flat-fronted Grade 2 listed Georgian Huguenot house that will be going live for sale on the Unique Property Company website early next year for £4.5 million. So consider this an early sneak peek. Okay, so to set the scene, we are in one of three of my most favourite parts of London, the Spitalfields Conservation Area. This historic pocket of London is home to some of the capital's best preserved Georgian architecture. We've got Brick Lane with its world famous street market at one end of the road, and at the other we've got Commercial Street, where you'll find a multitude of cool retail outlets, some excellent bars, restaurants, and it's also home to Spitalfields Covered Market, which I must say is looking very Christmassy at the moment with all its festive decorations up. It's also the gateway to the City of London and Liverpool Street, which has to be one of London's best travel hubs. You've got the choice of National Rail services, Overline Rail services, the Stansted Express, Elizabeth Line, Metropolitan, Hammersmith and City, and Central Lines on the Tube. Right, the house. It's a 5-storey, flat-fronted, mid-terrace home, and the townhouse layout means you can chop and change the rooms as you wish. There's up to 5 bedrooms if you require, or if you prefer, you can use some of the bedrooms as reception rooms. You'll see what I mean as we're wandering around on the tour. And it's not just the historic nature of the house that makes this special and so unique. On the other side of the private rear garden behind, there's a separate self-contained 2-bedroom cottage that's an income producing investment. But if required, it could make an ideal home for older kids or parents, the people you would like to keep close to you, but not necessarily under the same roof. Okay, we're going to start the tour. I'm going to do this in 2 parts. The house first, and then we'll go to the rear garden and I'll talk about the cottage in a bit more detail. So we're going to flip the camera around, head outside the front and kick off. Okay, so welcome to Fournier Street, and this is the house in question. It's a gorgeous Grade 2 listed flat-fronted Georgian Huguenot house, and if I just pan around left there, that's the bottom of the street, and that's Brick Lane, directly onto Brick Lane. And then as I flick around to my right, you get to see the rest of these fabulous listed houses up to Spitalfields Church at the top of the road there, and that is Commercial Street. An interesting fact about Fournier Street, which I've just learned today, it was named after a guy called George Fournier. During or after the Jack the Ripper period, nobody could sell their houses on this street, so they decided to rename it after him. He was a local benefactor, so they decided to change the name to encourage people to buy. And just over to the far left, you can just make out the railings there, those black railings. They are, the far left are the original black railings for when the house was first built. They're still intact. The rest of it has been replaced sympathetically because obviously it's worn out, but there's some original railings over there, and that door is where we're going to head through right now. Right, welcome to the hallway, and it's the kind of house that I feel it's not necessary to talk too loudly in. It feels like a quiet space. It feels like a very serene space. The light that's coming in through the back of the house at the moment is just gorgeous. And hopefully you can get a sense of the atmosphere that it really does emit from the walls, the panelled walls, and these original floorboards. There's lots of originality everywhere. These are original floorboards, a mixture of some replacement, but there's lots of original panelling that's dotted around the house as well. And I'm going to turn left and head into what's currently used as the dining room. But again, these rooms are all open to interpretation. You could use this as a living space if you wanted, but again, you'll get a feel for it as we're walking around. 2 sash windows overlooking the streetscape here, and there is original shutters here. Both windows have got the original shutters. Lovely original squeaky floorboards, as you might hear. And you may notice these as wandering around. These are the grates that cover the sunken radiators. There's gas central heating, but there's radiators under there which push some real heat out. Now this cupboard is significant. I want to show you this. This is the original Georgian wig cupboard, and it is original as the day it was made. It is exquisite in there. Obviously every well-to-do Georgian person needed somewhere to store their wigs, and that was the cupboard. There's another view of the dining room, and then there is a door into what is currently used as a little snug. I think, if I'm correct, this is probably the owner's favourite room. Nice cosy room, lots of panelling, original floorboards. Again, there's a fireplace behind that telly. Window to the back garden there. But just a lovely room. There's so much, it just feels like a very, very special place. It's lovely. And it is one of those houses where I think I perhaps will talk less, just because I'll let the house do the talking for me, because you don't need me doing my boring estate agency spiel as I'm wandering around. Now, we'll head downstairs. This is the basement to the house, lower ground. Flagstone floors everywhere on this level. They're not original, but they do fit very well in keeping with, I'd imagine, what would have been very similar to when the house was first built in 1726. Now, this is the kitchen. There are shutters there, they're closed at the moment, but there's shutters there opening out to the garden. But there's a decent sized kitchen here, lots of countertop space, solid wooden countertop space. This cupboard here houses the boiler and the pressured cylinder. There's a little butler sink over there. But this room on my right, as we're going to head round now, this, if I'm completely honest, is my favourite room. This feels like stepping back in time. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous room. I'm assuming it would have been a scullery or something when it was first built, but really, really well kept. Original beam up there. And these, I have to show you these. Behind this Arga, these are original Delft tiles. Now, if you're not familiar with Delft tiles, they are again another significant historic feature. These were tiles that I believe were made in the 1600s. They're Dutch, and they're all hand painted and handmade, and they were used as a way of just being an easy wipe clean surface. When these had open fires in them in the hearth, they were used because they were just easy to wipe clean and just generally keep clean. So, I mean, obviously they were just a very practical element when they were first installed, but they've just become a bit of a feature of a lot of these old Huguenot houses. I've seen a few houses with these in them. Just through that window there, you can see there's the under the pavement basement storage, which is accessed by that door there, which is also a handy little storage space. But this door there just heads out to the front, and that's the street at the front there. We're at the front of the house. But more panelling. And before we head upstairs, oh actually, sorry, there we go. Pantry. There's a little pantry here. Really nice size. Lots of storage. And just across the hallway here, if I can flick a light on, we have a little guest loo. Again, lots of the signature colours used, very well kept. It feels almost brand new. And there's a bit of understairs storage under these lovely stairs here. So, save any messing around or you watching too much excess of the video. I'm going to switch off now and I'm going to head up to the first floor. So the first landing, and another big sash window there. That's the back of the house overlooking the garden. More original timber. These stairs are gorgeous. Such a nice colour to the wood. And as you would hope and expect with a Huguenot house, a lovely, slightly wonky door frame and wall all adds to the character. And this is the room that's used as the formal sitting room. Now you could, if you want to, use this as a bedroom and use reception space downstairs, but it's a gorgeous room, very grand. Triple aspect with the 6 foot, I'd say, sash windows overlooking the street below. Now this wallpaper is something that was made, it was a bespoke wallpaper made apparently underneath here, and there is, as I'm led to understand, underneath here there's some original panelling, but when they stripped back the house years and years ago, I think it was the previous owner that had done it, they found a rose, and that rose was embedded in under layers and layers of paint and I think wallpaper. So I think the thoughts were this was the original pattern, so they copied it and turned it into wallpaper to add to the historical feel of the house. That is a gas fire. Very nice fireplace and surround, marble inset fireplace there and surround. And that is a secret door there, which you just see the handle there. That leads into the room adjoining, which we'll head into now. Now, another, bedroom, but this one's used as a study. And again, much like the snug room downstairs, gorgeous room. It's really warm. It's such a cosy house. You'd expect some of these older houses to be slightly more drafty. This is not at all. This is a really warm, cosy house. It helps when you've got the sun on the back of the house. It really warms it through. Fireplace, more floorboards, more panelling, that signature colour. Just a gorgeous room, and that's the back of the secret door from the formal reception room. Let's head upstairs. These stairs are fantastic. And if you can just make out some of the, I mean, if the stairs could talk, these would, you could write a book. These are lovely. And more wall panelling as we head up to a bedroom. Again, this is the same size as the formal reception room below, but all the grandeur as below. Fireplace there. 3 sash windows. Some storage in that corner over there. I'm not going to start opening cupboards, but gorgeous room. This room is secondary glazed, so it's nice and quiet. There's grates in the floor down there with the radiator. It's hidden below. Now this door takes you through to the ensuite, which is a Jack and Jill affair, which means that it could be used by guests because you've got another door here that leads back to the top of the landing. There's a big wardrobe here. I'm not going to go into there too much detail. Corner shower with that marble set surround, glass enclosed. Lovely bath. Another fireplace there. More of the wood floorboards. And then head up one more flight of stairs and we're into the weaver's loft. So some of you who may have seen my previous videos on some of the other Huguenot houses in Spitalfields, you'll be aware these were the weaver's lofts, and this one is exceptional. Big room. You could almost turn this into 2 bedrooms if you really wanted to. It would be a bit of a jiggery-pokery with some false walls, but it's entirely doable. But bear in mind, it's a Grade 2 listed house, so you need to get the relevant permission before you touch anything in these properties. But it goes around the corner here. There's a fair amount of wardrobe space. There's 4 wardrobes there. You can just make out those doors. It's a really bright room. From the back here, you've got this view of the city. You can just make out there. That's the Gherkin. And I think it's the Heron Tower. You can just make out through the trees. And then we'll just have another look at the room. More floorboards up here. There is a tiny bit of loft storage space up there. Don't get any ideas of going into doing any loft conversions. It's not that kind of roof. And then last but not least, it's very, very nicely, simply decorated, but very exquisite bathroom with these floorboards, which I think are some of the nicest I've seen in these houses. These are absolutely fantastic. And then window to the rear. Okay, that is the tour of this extraordinary and gorgeous historic house in Spitalfields. And lastly, we're going to head into the garden. Back door here from the hallway. And I'll just stop for a second, shut that door. Here we go. Now, This is the things, or these are the things you need to know. That is a cottage. It's a 2-bedroom cottage. It was an old Tunman's cottage, apparently, connected to the brewery, I believe, the Truman Brewery just around the corner. And it is included in the sale. It's 2-bedroom, 1 reception room cottage. I'll leave the details in the video. I can't get into it today because it's rented and it wasn't convenient for the tenants, which is fair enough. So I'll leave some detail during this video. Over to the left there is the rear door for the cottage. The front door is on the other side of the building and accessed through a yard which you gain access to from Brick Lane, which is just over on the other side, just around the corner. And here we go. You've got a lovely wooden sheltered area there, great for a bit of shelter from the sun and the rain during those summer months. Great for a barbecue area. The owner's really gone to great lengths to just plant this. It just feels really nice. It feels like a proper city garden. Big enough, relevant size for a house like this in the middle of the city, effectively. Big high brick wall there, and then if I just turn around and show you the back of the house, you can see where the continued care and attention and maintenance has gone into keeping this house in absolutely, in my opinion, tip-top condition. For such an old house, it looks in such great shape. It's gorgeous. I hope you've enjoyed listening to me talk about this place, because I've fallen in love with it and I've mentally moved in already. There we go. Okay then, that's the tour taken care of. And do you know something? This is the kind of atmospheric home that makes what I do for a living such an honour. A place that still gives goosebumps to a fussy old history enthusiast like me. I've also learnt as well that this particular home is one of the most researched in the whole of Spitalfields. The owner, who's been here since the early 90s, has spent a huge amount of time researching the history. So much so, there's a list of pretty much every owner since its construction in 1726. So I really hope you've enjoyed wandering around this as much as I've enjoyed filming it for you. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think about the house. And if it happens to be the kind of place you'd be interested in or looking for, or know somebody that is looking for something like this, please do get in touch directly. simon.stone@uniquepropertycompany.co.uk on email, or 0203 987 1739 on the phone. I can share details and possibly book an early viewing for you. So thank you very much for watching. If you don't mind, please give this tour a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing for future walkarounds of unique and historic homes. That's it for now. I would like to bid you a very Merry Christmas, a very happy and healthy and prosperous New Year, and I'll see you in early 2025.